age-old cliche. You can't help who you fall in love with. Yeah, you can.
You hate that phrase.
I do.
You hate that phrase, and no good deed goes unpunished.
Oh, I hate that.
I don't know which one you hate more.
Hard ones with the hard ones.
They even sing songs about it.
No, you absolutely can turn that faucet off.
It's a love faucet?
It's a love
What are you,
faucet.
the love plumber?
Because here, I mean, she's like falling for her therapist. And she's in a relationship and has been with the same woman for like 25 years.
Yeah.
And now she's falling for her therapist. And how can you even be wondering what to do about it?
Hi, Bert Show. I've been listening to the show for years. I feel like I know you all and have invested in your lives. I'm writing because I need advice. I literally have no one else to talk with, and the one person I should is the person I'm asking about. I'm a 57-year-old lesbian, been with the same woman for 25 plus years, been married since it became legal in California. She is my life, and we have a pretty great life. I have nothing to complain about. We're living the dream we always wanted and are happy together. I love her with all my heart, and she me. I'm just going to end it there because I like it like that.
Okay. All right. What's
That
next? Yep.
My issue is I started seeing a therapist to help me improve on dealing with my feelings. These past few years have made me angry with many, in quotations, Americans, and I need to figure out how not to scream at certain people, including members of my family. Many of you have shared that you see a therapist, so I suspect you might know what I'm feeling. My therapist is a 25-year-old lesbian, which isn't really an issue, except I'm finding myself having sexual fantasies about her. Those fantasies grew as I learned she just broke up with her girlfriend and is now single. When we first started talking, I gave her my overview of me, told her my age, and she thought I was in my early 40s. Thank you, moisturizer and sunscreen. Having said all that, I get it's creepy. I'm way too old for her, and she's way too young for me. More importantly, even though she didn't write that, I'm happily married and wouldn't entertain an affair, as if, yet my attraction persists. She's a gorgeous woman with a great body and has what I call the whole shebang. Kind, stunning, beauty, intelligent, and curious. I'm not looking for permission to cheat or anything like that. As I said, she's way too young for me and I'm too old for her. That shouldn't be the reason why you're not attracted to her. I seriously doubt it's even in her mind to think of me that way. I'm not a mess, but she's seeing the ugly bits of my personality. That's certainly not sexy. I know that I'm only seeing the kind, patient, and thoughtful side of her, and that's probably what I'm attracted to. I can rationalize it all, but what should I do? I don't think I should tell my wife, I don't think I would tell my wife. That really serves no purpose. I don't think she'd be concerned about me cheating, but I don't want to pollute the relationship I have with my wife or my therapist. Do you think I should tell my therapist about my attraction, or just keep my mouth shut, knowing nothing will happen and I'll get over it in time? Thanks for reading and giving your thoughts.
I feel like this is part of the therapy.
No.
I do. I mean, I think I would tell the therapist, but not in a, like I'm coming on to you kind of way. I think it's like, look, these are the real feelings I'm having. And while this is not going to happen, I know that. Help me through this.
No, you have to find a new therapist.
Yeah, I think any therapist worth their salt will hear that and be like, I'm going to have to terminate. Then it's completely unprofessional. But also, as soon as she started to have feelings and fantasies, one way to make somebody else feel uncomfortable, like, I don't care who you are, you don't want to hear that, especially about someone you're trying to help in that capacity. She should have split a long time ago from this person.
I disagree. I always want to hear.
Mo. I think y'all are both right. I think she does need to tell her therapist about what's going on in her head, just not the therapist that it's going on in her head about. So that's
Find a
what you
different
should
therapist.
do. Find a different therapist and express what you are going through, but you cannot do it with the therapist that you had the feelings
So you
for.
say find a new therapist and then say, like, look, the reason why I'm here is because I started having feelings about my past therapist, and that obviously would have caused a mess, but this is part of my therapy.
No, I think, Mo, I think you actually go to this therapist for the last time and be like, listen, I appreciate everything you've done for me. However, I am finding myself attracted to you and having fantasies about you, so I have to terminate our relationship and find a new therapist.
Yep.
And to be fair, it's easy to see why, right? It's the person you confide in the most about everything. They're never judgmental. And you get a very, beige, tailored version of that person. So I could see that it would be very easy to build a whole character around your therapist, somebody you feel safe around, somebody you don't feel judged by, and if they're attractive as well. But I guarantee the therapist is very different in person from what she thinks she is in her head.
And she rationalized that. She said that. Like, I get that the person I'm getting is the kind, thoughtful, you're getting the best version of her because she's your therapist.
And let's try to answer a question that we're totally unqualified to answer. Can you be, because she says, I'm completely happy in my marriage. Can you be completely happy in your marriage yet still be having sexual fantasies and really having these thoughts of somebody else?
No. I don't think so.
I think you can.
You can? All right, let's run with you because I think the three of us are on a different page.
My thing is no spouse can be every single thing for every person, right? Which is why we have friends. They fill different like voids that our spouses don't fill. Now, the physical, that's a little different, but I think you can be happy with your partner and love who you're with, but also be getting something from somebody else to fill that void. Now, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying you should pursue it or do it because I do think that is emotional cheating and it can lead to physical infidelity. But I do think it is possible to be happy in your marriage and still be getting something somewhere else. So like, I love ice cream. I love vanilla ice cream. Don't at me. It's my favorite.
Me too.
Yeah, it's so good. But pizza is giving me something that vanilla ice cream is not. It is salty and meaty and juicy, and it's so good. But
we're still talking about pizza, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not It's not soft and cool and sweet like vanilla ice cream is. They're both things. I'm happy with vanilla ice cream. Doesn't mean that pizza is not attractive to me. But what I need you to do is, no, pizza, you're not coming into my mindset. You're not in my diet right now. And so that's where that sort of self-accountability takes place.
I can't agree with that, man. So if I am really happy with my fiance and I'm having, she says, sexual fantasies about somebody else, something right in my head and my heart. And if Tiffany came to me and was honest and said that she was having sexual fantasies about somebody else, I don't consider that like, I wouldn't consider that happy, but I agree with you that you can't find one person that fits all of your needs. But when you're talking about having sexual fantasies about somebody you're seeing weekly,
that's attainable. That technically is attainable because they're in your life. It's not like a celebrity fantasy because people have, I'm sure, like sexual fantasies about people who are unattainable from time to time. Not everybody, but I'm sure some people do. But in this instance, like if Bart told me he was having sexual fantasies about his therapist, there's something wrong in our relationship where he's doing that.
So I'm not endorsing it, just to be clear, and I would have a problem too if Chad came to me and said that. But my thing is, if you're talking about a therapist, it is someone that you place your entire emotional being into their hands, right? All of your deepest, darkest fears, your secrets, things you don't tell your spouse, things you hate about yourself, like secret fantasies, you tell your therapist this stuff. So there is an emotional connection that is formed that you might not form in the same way with your spouse. So that's why in this specific instance only, I could understand why this crops up, but you can still be happy with your spouse. If it's a personal trainer, hell no, like something's wrong in your relationship. But somebody that you are literally putting the darkest, deepest parts of yourself into their hands and it is safe there, I understand why there's a trust built and why some people confuse that with emotional intimacy.
It's very mature.
I ain't saying it's right. I'm not saying I like it.
I just don't I don't see the difference between a therapist and a physical and a
trainer,
a trainer, or somebody in the office.
It's all the same to me.
It's all the same to me. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do. But I would still, if I were in her position, as soon as I started to have any kind of attraction, I'd bounce.
Good morning, Bert Show. Who is this?
This is Sheila.
Hey, Sheila. Good morning.
Hey, I'm a therapist, and I actually wanted to say that it is very normal and it is very appropriate to bring it up in therapy that you have feelings towards your therapist. Depending on the type of therapy you're in, talking about the feelings that come up in relation to your therapist is actually very therapeutic. So I would encourage her to bring it up and see what happens.
I think that's what I initially felt like also. Like this should be part of the therapy. Now, if a client says that to you, do you immediately say, okay, you're going to have to talk to another therapist about this? Or can you still continue to see that patient?
It would be a conversation. It would be a little bit more of what do you see in me that you like, and what are you not getting from your relationship, and how do we work through that? There are some people who are just a little creepy, and you may need to refer them out, but you may just have to have a little bit more of a conversation before you decide to bail.
That it?
There you go.
Okay, I thought you had something else.
No, I'm just taking it all in.
You're on an island by yourself here, Cassie, and if I'm Chad, I am not happy.
I don't even have a therapist.
Who is Vanilla?
You know who I see every
is
day?
it?
You
No,
guys.
it's who's pizza.
Who's pizza?
Bert, I have something to tell you.
The Bert Show.
Like what you just watched, you can get more of The Bert Show on your favorite podcast platform. Wherever you listen to your podcast, you can find us. I don't know what any of these buttons do, by the way.